Thank you, Muktada Mataji, for joining the class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji. Indu Mataji, shall I start?
Yes, Mataji, I was just posting. Mataji, we only have to post to the main group, right? Yeah.
That's what. Yes.
Yes, Mataji. I think we can start. Preeti Mataji is also.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha. So today we are seeing the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 14th chapter, King Vena's story from Srimad Bhagavatam. So we will move on. I'll start with the prayers. ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताका स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमाचार्यपादाय निताय कृपप्रदायिने गौरकथाधाम दयानगरग्रामतारिणे नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय हरे कृष्णा. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Today is a very special day. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's appearance day. So I'm very feeling so happy to give the summary on this special day. Seeking all the blessings from the acharyas and the assembled devotees. Please bless me. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. So before we move on to the chapter 14, I just want to give a small recap for chapter 13. So it's a continuous story, right? We are seeing about Anga Maharaj and Vena, King Vena. In this canto, first we started learning about a story about Shiva and Sati, Daksha's story, and also we saw the great determination of Dhruva Maharaj and how Dhruva Maharaj went back to Godhead. So all this story we have seen already. So now last week we have seen about Anga Maharaj story, and also Vena, King Vena was also introduced in that chapter. So when Vidura was hearing all these topics from Maitreya, he was very happy. Maitreya was describing about Uttanapada's lineage, and so Vidura was so happy. And at the end of that, he was saying about Narada Muni, the guru of Dhruva Maharaj, was glorifying was glorifying Dhruva Maharaj in the sacrifice conducted by the Prachetas. So then Vidura asked the question, who is this Prachetas? Why did Narada Muni glorified Dhruva Maharaj there? So now Maitreya Muni explains the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj. Actually, Prachetas are coming in the family of Dhruva Maharaj only. After certain generations, they will be coming, they'll be taking birth, and So Maitreya continues to explain about Dhruva Maharaj lineage. Dhruva Maharaj has many sons. Out of that, his first son is Utkala. Utkala was a very, very nice person. He was fully devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was not having any envious to anyone. He was able to see in everyone's this Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was not into this political thing. He does not wanted to rule after Dhruva Maharaj, because he don't wanted to be into this political affair, and he just wanted to concentrate on his spiritual journey. So then comes Vatsara, who was the next person in the Dhruva Maharaj family. So he takes up the throne and he becomes the king. In his lineage only, we will find King Anga Maharaj. So Anga Maharaj was very, very righteous king, as we already saw in the previous chapter, just that we are recapping so that we will be understanding clearly where we are today. So then when Maitreya Muni was explaining to Vidura that about Anga Maharaj, she was saying that Anga Maharaj is a great king, but he has very bad son. And sages curses him and he dies. So then now Vidura asks the next question. How come the great king Anga Maharaj, who is very pious, have a very cruel son? How is that possible? Can you explain? So now what happens is Maitreya explains about all this story about Anga Maharaj. Anga Maharaj was a very, very great king. So one time he was performing the sacrifices to the, he was doing the sacrifices. When some sacrifices are performed at that age, what used to happen is they used to do the whatever the oblations are given in the sacrifice, demigods personally used to come and take it. But this time Anga Maharaj was surprised that no one was coming, demigods was not coming. So then Anga Maharaj asked the priests, what happened, why the demigods are not coming? I have did everything nicely, I have hired the first class brahmana and everything is nice, why are they not coming? So then he says that Anga Maharaj says, maybe I did any sin. Then sages reply, no, you did not do any sin in this present life, but you don't have a king. You don't have a son. That is why demigods are not coming to take their share. You have to have a king. You have to have a son. For that, what you have to do? You have to do a sacrifice, yagna, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then you will get a son, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the desire of any devotee. So if Lord Hari will fulfill the desires of any devotees, you please pray to him. And then once when they do this yagna, sacrifice, so that time what happens is Supreme Personality of Godhead gets very pleased. From the yagna where they are sacrificed, the yagna purusha comes and he gives a paisam to the Anga Maharaj. And that paisam, what he does is he gives it to his wife, Sunita. But what happens is, Sunita being the daughter of Mrityu, death personified, because of that, even though she is a daughter of the death personified, Sunita, Anga Maharaj did not think anything. Okay, he was very liberal. He thought, okay, that's okay. She is my wife. Let she eat and let her get a son so that he can do a sacrifice. So what happens because of that? Suniti's lineage is father is Mrityu. Because of that, she gets a cruel son, that is Vena. So then what happens is Vena will get all the qualities of his grandfather. He becomes very cruel. When he's playing with his friends also, he fights, he kills them, he troubles them. Seeing all of these cruel activities of Vena, Anga Maharaj tried to control him, try to correct all the bad activities that Vena is doing. But it doesn't work. Vena doesn't listen to his father. He tries again and again. It doesn't happen. So now Anga Maharaj becomes very sad. Why this is not why is my son is not changing? After all, I'm correcting, he's not changing. Now he thinks, instead of I having a son, better not have son, because this son is very cruel. Instead of having a bad son like this, better I don't have any son. Then I would have been happy. But then after a while, Anga Maharaj thinks a little bit and he says, oh, this is very nice. Instead of having a good son, that's good that I have a bad son, because I can easily get detached to my kingship, because I know that it's not going to work. I'm not, if I'm telling to Vena, but Vena is not listening to me. So what to do? It's better to get detached, get retired from everything and just go to the forest. So he decides like that. And here it explains that how a devotee takes a calamities to be a fortune. Like even Kunti Maharani we saw, even Vidura, when he got pulled away from Duryodhana pulls away him, right, from the kingdom. So then he goes to pilgrimage instead of feeling sad for it. Even Kunti Maharani, Pandavas, they take all the calamities to be the good fortune, and they make it to be Krishna consciousness. Happily they will devote themselves to Krishna nicely. So now what happens, thinking like this, Anga Maharaj thinks, oh, it is waste of, trying to explain him. It is not working. Let me go to the forest. Like this, he thinks, and he one night, without telling anyone, he leaves to the forest. So that's the story of the 13th chapter. Now we will move on to the 14th chapter. So we can see the 14 chapter sections are divided like this: 1 to 6, Vena's atrocities, and 7 to 13, considering the sage's plan to meet Vena and pacify him, because he was so bad, right? They wanted to pacify him. The sages tried to pacify him. And in the next verses, like 14 to 22 and 23 to 28, Vena's arrogant reply to the sages. So he was not in a position to take whatever the sages are telling. Now we'll see from 29 to 35, the sages kill Vena. Sunita preserves his body with mantras. Then we can see that after that, 36 to 41, the sages observes the disturbance of the kingdom, because they killed the Vena. Now there is a disturbance. In the next set of the verse, they will see that how the disturbance is happening in the kingdom. Then the sages turns the body of Vena, and who comes? Bahuka comes from the thigh, and Anga comes from the Prithu Maharaj and Archi comes from the arms. That is 42 to 46 verses. We will see in the detail. Okay, now if you see the first verse here, 1 second, give me a second. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. So in the first verse, we can see here, the great sage Maitreya continued, "Oh, great hero, the great sages headed by Bhrigu were always thinking of welfare of the people in general. When they saw that the absence of King Anga, there was no protection and people of the people. So they wanted to help the people. That's the duty of the sages. The sages always think about how to protect the citizens. They don't think that, oh, how do I do my devotion. Not only that, but they also think how to protect the citizens. Not only that, and also if you see that what is the duty of a king? King's duty is to always take the instructions from the sages, and sages duty is to always instruct the king. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada quoted from Bhagavad Gita 4.13 that Chatur Varnam Maya Shishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasam. So the 4 Varnas, there are 4 classes, like intelligent class, administrative class, productivity class, and work class. So because of being these classes, we will know what a person should do according to their classes. But if you see now in this Kali Yuga, all of them who are ruling should be an intelligent administrative class, should be very good person who is following the dharma. But if you see here in this present Kali Yuga, whoever is ruling the country is not a good person. All are Shudra, because they are not following Krishna consciousness. One who is not God consciousness, they are considered to be Shudras. One who is in God consciousness, even though born in Shudra family, considered to be a Vaishnava or a devotee of the Lord. So moving on to the next verse, the great sages now then they took the permission of Sunita, because they wanted to ask. Now they are telling, oh, now there is no king. King Anga had left to the forest. Now what to do? So they took the permission of Queen Sunita, and they wanted to enthrone the Vena. But anyway, the ministers and everybody was disagreed, because we already saw the characteristics of Vena. Vena is very cruel, right? So seeing this Vena in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that how a rat run and go and hide from the snake. In the same way, all the thieves, rogues, everybody in the kingdom are hiding. Why? Because king is very cruel. If they get caught to him, that's it, they are gone, like a rat getting caught by the snake. It's like that, just one gulp, it will eat it up, like that. Now all this bad people are not troubling anymore, because they know that king is very cruel. They're going to get into big trouble. But anyway, it's we know that how the king opulences are, right? King, by being a king, they will get all opulences, like 8 opulences they get. But here we can see in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that how these 8 opulences are by default, when a person follow the king, follow the mystic practices, that is called Raja Rishis. That is why they are called Raja Rishis. And by doing that, what they can become smaller than the smallest and larger than the largest, and they can do all of this. But if you see here, King Vena, he's not into this category. But still, what happened? Because he's being a king, he's so proud about it. He wants to trouble everyone now even more badly. So now what did he do? Now the king took on to this chariot, and he sat on the chariot, just going like a mad elephant everywhere, traveling from the earth to the sky and troubling all of the people. Now it's so dangerous than the rogues and the thieves. Now king himself is having creating the havoc in the kingdom instead of the rogues and the thieves. So what happened? By his cruel characteristics, he stopped all the sacrifices. He stopped all the rituals for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and demigods. So what happens when there is no proper sacrifice performed to the Lord? Automatically all misfortune appears there. So all the bad things happen. So Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, that is why people should always concentrate on Krishna consciousness, chant Hare Krishna, then the problems will reduce, and then we will see the peace in the society. Without Krishna consciousness, it's not possible. In this Kali Yuga, all these rituals, sacrifices, all of these are not so prominent. What is prominent in this Kali Yuga is chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we will see the next set of verses here from the text 7. So now, therefore, what happened is, now sages understood, oh my God, what happened? Now the king became very cruel, and everybody into trouble, and he stopped all these sacrifices. Now we are in great danger. Something great danger is going to happen to us. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that how always the sages are very concerned about the people, but otherwise, if you see the karmis, they are just into the sense gratification. They want to on. Gyanis, they want to just do speculation. They don't have any other work other than that. So but the sages, the saintly people, but what they think, they not only practice devotional service, but they also think about people in general. So that's what here we can see how the sages were thinking. Now what to do? Now the sages were thinking and talking to themselves that it is very bad now, just like a fire coming from both the side, and there is a danger in between, like all the ants are there inside in between. So situation looks very, very dangerous. Now what we have to do with this irresponsible king, and one side and the other side is the thieves, how to handle this situation? Now the sages are discussing among themselves. thinking to save the state, the sages began to consider that due to a political crisis, that they made King Vena to be a king, even though he's not qualified. But under that circumstances, what they have to do, they had to made him king. But he's not qualified. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that is yagna dhana tapa karma na tajyam karma eva tat yagna dhana tapaschaiva pavanani manishina. So what brahmanas should do? Brahmanas should do the sacrifices, and grihasthas should do the charity, and sannyasis should do austerities. So that is the duty of each and every person. They have to do their own duty. Saintly persons are always thinking about the people in general, how to save these people from the animalistic life. What is the animalistic life here? They're thinking about our own sense gratification, not thinking about who are we, how to connect to Krishna. So sage's duty is to give that information so that they can connect to Krishna. So in this present life, in this Kali Yuga, what happened? Everybody is a thief and rogue. Nobody is a good person. That is why everybody is suffering. Moving on to the next slide. So here we can see that King Vena's nature, by nature, he is mischievous. So because of mischievousness, he's continuing his nature like that. But here sages are thinking it like they have favored him, right? Even though he was very bad, sages favored him. Sages thought, okay, let us make him king, because there is no other option. Let us make him king. By any chance, if he becomes good, it is good for everyone, like that. And they have favored him in one sense, because they made him king. But instead of favoring, now what is the king Vena should do? Because the sages favored him, he needs to support them. Instead of supporting them, he stopped everything. Like Srila Prabhupada says in the translation and purport very clearly, it is like you are keeping a pet snake, feeding the snake milk and bread and everything. Finally one day snake will come and bite you only, because it has all poison. There is no use of feeding the snake, right? It's going to eat up you only one time. So that is what happening when they have enthroned the Vena. Even he is very bad, and giving him a position made him even more bad. So that's the text 10. Move on to text 11. What happens in the next text is, like, now they are thinking like we have to go and pacify the king. Otherwise it's going to be, we will get into the sin, because we are the one of the person who also made him to become king, and it is not good for us, it's not good for the people. So we have to go and pacify him. So now the sages are very, very afraid. So it is said that in the law of karma, nobody is escaped. Everybody are, into the law of karma. Everyone, whatever action you are doing, we have to suffer for it. So like we know the famous example of Yamaraja, right? He is the one who gives the punishment to everyone. But we can see that how Mandakamuni, he curses Yamaraja to become a son of a Sudra, Vidura. He comes as a Vidura, right? So everybody is in the comes under the action of karma. Nobody can escape the karma. If you are doing some action, you have to take the reaction. But when you are in Krishna consciousness, that's where we can escape. Whatever we are doing, if we keep Krishna in our center, and if you do, then there is no problem of action and reaction. That's not going to trouble me, because Krishna is everything. We are keeping Krishna center. Whatever we are eating, we are offering it to Krishna. Whatever we are doing, giving credits to Krishna, then we are escaped. Otherwise, we are into this circle, and we will get on troubles. Sometimes we are happy due to our karma, sometimes we are sad due to our karma. Actions and reactions keeps on going in our life. So now what happened is, so now the sages thinks, let us go and pacify. If they are listening, if he is listening, that's okay. If he is not listening, let's make him to burn into ashes. That's what the sages finally decided. So here we can see that the sages in that age, they had ability to kill someone with the mantras. They can just make them into ashes, they can just make anything, because that power they had in that age. But now the sages don't have anything in this age, and they don't even know how to pronounce properly. The brahmanas that in Kali Yuga, they don't even know pronounce properly the mantras. So that's why it is recommended in this Kali Yuga, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So I was remembering a story of the rat becoming a tiger, and again the sage makes the tiger to become rat back, right? Punar Mukshika Bhava, again become rat. So now the sages are trying to do King Vena like that. Now the sages made King Vena to sit on the throne, thinking that he will do something good, but he made every day this but Vena is doing everything bad. But Vena forgot that the sages have a power to take him away from that post and just burn him to ashes. Now the sages are into the next step to correct him. If he's not going to be corrected, they are going to make him to ashes. So now the sages started trying to pacify the king. Now they all approached King Vena, and they started with the sweet words. They were talking, "Oh, King Vena, you are so good." That's like that. Even though they have so much angry, they have controlled all the anger, and they're talking to say King Vena. "Oh, dear king, we have come to give you a good advice. Kindly hear with great attention. By doing so, your duration of life and your opulence, strength, and reputation will increase." So now the sages were nicely telling, "Oh, dear king, please hear to me attentively. By hearing us, by following our orders, what will happen? You will become so opulent, you'll become strength full, and you will get all the reputation, sorry. That's what they were telling. Here in the puppet, it is explained that kings are supposed to follow the sage's order, like otherwise it's not going, the kingdom will not be happy. From the beginning, again and again in the purport, Prabhupada was stressing the same word, that the king should follow the orders of the sages, otherwise the kingdom is not happy. So in this present Kali Yuga, because of that only, government is not able to make us happy, make the citizens happy, how much ever they are trying to do, but we are not happy because we are not centered. Government is not centered with Krishna consciousness. So that is why this, even though we are saying we are in democratic country, what Srila Prabhupada says with laughingly, democracy, democracy. So it's not a democracy anymore. It is all demons who are ruling us, and we are suffering because of that. So moving on to the next verse here. So now the sages are continuously telling them that, we should use our body, mind, words, intelligence, everything in the service of the Lord. Then we can be happy. And we can, not only you be happy, and everybody else also will be happy. In that way, the kingdom will not be suffering by miseries. So like famous example, always we see that we use our BMW in the service of Krishna. A BMW is a luxury, right? Is a prestige issue. That means you are so great. When you have that greatness in your life, where we have to use that greatness, use it for Krishna, so that we can live happily. So our BMW is body, mind, and words. So when we able to use our body, mind and words to Krishna, then our life is successful. So here Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that why the sages are explaining all this to king, because yad yad acharati shreshtas tatat evitarojana sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. So whatever example a great man sets, common man will follow. If the king, the leaders and the brahmanas, the teachers would set forth the examples we receive from the Vedic literature, the entire world would be heaven. Indeed, there would be no longer hellish condition. There would be no longer hellish condition within this material world. So what here the sages are trying to say, because you are a king, you are setting an example. So you need to set up a good example. You're not supposed to do like that. You are supposed to offer the sacrifices, and you are supposed to give the what you call, give the safety to the citizen. You are not supposed to trouble them like this. This is not the right thing. Like that sages were telling to King Vena. Sages still continues speaking. Now they are addressing, oh, you are a great hero. So they are trying to see all the good words that they can use it. They say na samad dhama, I don't know, I forgot the word, but whatever way, one way or other way, one they are trying for with the sweet words first, then they're going to use the harsh words, and then they're finally going to see the last punishment. So the level of the correction is different. From one stage they try first level, second level and third level. That is what it is said even in Krishna consciousness, right? When you are doing some correction, it should be like a sandwich. First you tell the sweet words, and again you glorify, in between you put some correction. So that's what the sages are doing here. They're trying to tell him, oh, great hero, oh, you are good person, you should follow the rules so that you can be famous, you can be happy, you can make your kingdom happy. So that's what they are trying to tell. So simply by practicing the devotional service, you can make everyone happy. And now they're going to say how a pious king should be and what will happen if someone is a pious. So they are trying to tell him, right, be good, be good. So now they are telling like, oh, what will happen exactly if you are a pious king, or what is the duty of a pious king to do. So here in the purport, if you say, it is explained that one who is a pious king will enjoy in this life and in the next life also. And that person who is a pious king is a person who is able to safeguard all the citizens. And if you see the Sudras, in the purport Srila Prabhupada explains, Sudras are the people from the third class, and the second class is the Kshatriya, and the first class is Brahmanas, intelligent class. So what is the duty of a king? King's duty is to correct all kingdom, not only kingdom, within his ministry itself. If some ministers are not doing good job, he have to correct them, he have to remove them, he have to punish them. So it's his duty. When the king is doing all of this, then only he is eligible to collect the taxes from the citizen. Otherwise, he is not eligible to collect any taxes from the citizen. If he is doing so, that means he is getting into big trouble. So when he is able to protect all the citizens, and when he is able to do some sacrifices to the Supreme Lord, that's when he is eligible to take the taxes. And otherwise, he is not eligible to take taxes. And otherwise, the karma flows. Being in the king position, whatever the small mistake, if you see King Riga story is there, right? He does not do any mistake. He gives the sacrifice the cow, but the cow comes back. Because he did not see that the cow was coming back again, he gives the same cow to the charity to the another Brahmana. By doing that, he gets a punishment. He had to become a lizard, right? So that is a responsibility of a king. When you are sitting in a position of a king, even the mistakes are done with known to you, even the mistakes are done without known to you, it doesn't matter. If you are in the position of a king, you have to take all the karma. So that's the position of king. It's not that easy to take a higher positions. So that's why we can see that initially Dhruva Maharaj's first son said, I don't want to take it. I don't want to get into this trouble. I want to completely surrender myself to Krishna. So, and in the next verse, Srila Prabhupada says about satisfying the Lord. A pure king, a pious king is always thinking about to satisfy the Lord. How can we satisfy the Lord? Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. So that by sacrificing everything, by offering everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that way we can make Krishna happy. So by worshipping of the Lord, by worshipping of the Lord, we can make Krishna, we can make our life happy. Otherwise, it's not possible. So moving on to the next verse. So here it is said that now they are again telling, oh noble one, if the king sees that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of the cosmic manifestation and the super soul within everyone is worshipped, the Lord will be satisfied. Oh, if you are able to see everyone equal and if you are able to protect everyone, then Lord will be satisfied. So that's the duty of a king. So they are trying to explain him. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped by the great demigods who are controlling of the universal affairs. When he is satisfied, nothing is impossible to achieve. For this reason, all the demigods, presiding deities of different planets, as well as their inhabitants of their planets, take pleasure in offering all kinds of paraphernalia for his worship. Here it is said that not only as citizens of this earthly planet, even in the heavenly planet, all the demigods, everybody, entire creation, all the universes, everyone is supposed to offer their respects to Supreme Personality of God. If we satisfied Krishna, then there is no other problems in our life. Everything is satisfied else. Like it is said, right? When the water we are giving to the tree, to the roots, then automatically all the tree is satisfied. Otherwise, tree cannot be nourished. It is not going to possible. So when we worship Krishna, everything else will be happy. All the citizens and all our life, everything is very happy. So here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that it is important for us sages and the king to make understand how a person, a human being, should raise from animalistic life to the human being. We got this body not to use for the sense gratification. We got this body to use it for Krishna. So we need to understand that. So moving on to the next verse. So dear king, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with the predominant deities, is the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices of all planets. The Supreme Lord is the sum total of 3 Vedas, the owner of everything and ultimate goal of all austerities. Indeed, you should always direct the citizens towards the offering of the sacrifice. Now again, they are trying to glorify Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are telling that Supreme Lord is everything. Supreme Lord is the essence of all the Vedas. If all the citizens are directed towards the Supreme Lord, then everything becomes pious. Everything is auspiciousness in the kingdom. So when the Brahmanas engaging in the performance of the sacrifice in our kingdom, and all the demigods who are plenary portions of the Lord will be also satisfied. So therefore, O hero, do not stop the sacrificial performance. If you stop them, you will disrespect all the demigods. So now they are trying to say, oh hero, don't stop this. Being a king, you should not stop. By doing that, you are disrespecting the demigods, and you will get all the impious things, and you will get all the sin. So please don't do this. Moving on to the next slide. Now sages finish their pacifying Vena. Now the Vena is trying to reply to the sages. Now King Vena talks very arrogantly, and now he's replying, you are not all experienced. It is very much regrettable that you are maintaining something which is not religious and are accepting it as a religious. Indeed, I think you are giving up your real husband who maintains you, and you are searching after some paramour to worship. So look at this. Now we are seeing in the Srimad Bhagavatam Hiranyakashipu episode, right? So it's King Vena and Hiranyakashipu is very, very relatable. We can see that how Hiranyakashipu also thinks that, oh, I am the one and you are leaving me and you are worshipping Vishnu. You should not worship Vishnu. Here the same way saying that, oh, I am the one who is maintaining because I am the king, right? I am maintaining and you stopping worshipping me, and you are telling that you will worship Lord Vishnu. That is not correct. So King Vena is very foolish. Is very inexperienced child, and he's trying to speak to the sages like this. Moving on to the next verse. Those who are out of gross ignorance do not worship the king, who is actually a supreme personality of Godhead, experience happiness either in this world or in after this death. If we see in the previous verses, sages were telling, right, if you don't worship Krishna, you will not be able to enjoy this life and the next life. The same thing the Vena is telling by reversing it. He's telling that, oh, if you don't worship king, then you'll not be able to happy in this life and in the next life also. So you are so much devoted to demigods, but who are they? Indeed, your affection for these demigods is exactly like affection to a unchaste woman who neglects her married life and gives all attention to her paramour. So same thing again it repeats here. So here it is said that King Vena is saying that, oh, you are saying that you worship demigods. So I am the Lord here. Okay, you are like acting like an unchaste woman who is leaving their husband and just running behind anyone and trying to satisfy them instead of their her own husband. So moving on to the next verse, here it says that Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Indra, Vayu, the master of air, Yama, the supreme intent of the death, the sun god, the director of rainfall, Kuvera, the treasurers, the moon god, the predominant deity of the earth, Agni, fire god, Varuna, the lord of waters, and all others who are great competent to bestow benedictions, are to curse all the abide of in the body of the king. For that reason, king is known as the reservoir of all demigods, who are simply part and parcel of king's body. So now what is he saying is, king is a great and all the demigods are his part and parcel. So he is the owner of every demigod. So he's telling like that because of a false pride, he's thinking that he is a god. No, it is said that even like we say that supreme personality of Godhead is a god, and whoever is serving, like our Guru Maharaj, spiritual masters, are the representative of the supreme personality of Godhead. They are given equal respects, but they are not the supreme personality of Godhead themselves, and they don't say that they are God also. They say that we are the representative of the Lord, and they direct people to the supreme personality of Godhead. The same way, the king has the power or like a supreme personality of Godhead, because he's ruling the kingdom, he's controlling the kingdom. But what is his duty? He's not, he cannot say that he is God. Supreme controller is there, supreme Lord is there. His duty is to serve the supreme Lord, make everyone to serve the supreme Lord. So we should be very careful that we should never think that we are the God, we are the servant of the gods. We are always the servant of the God. So King Vena now telling more reasons. Oh, Brahmanas, you should abandon your envy of me, and by your rituals activities, you should worship me and offer me all paraphernalia. If you are intelligent, you should know that there is no personality superior to me who can accept the first oblations of all sacrifice. So now they are telling that, he's telling that I am the great. You please first offer me everything. So this is all because of the false ego and envy. So now what happened? They tried to tell him the good words and sweet words. The reply from the Vena made king made the sages very unhappy. Now sages decided to kill King Vena. So now the great sages Maitreya continued. That's the king who became unintelligent due to his sinful life and a deviation from the right path, because actually before of all good fortune he could not accept the requests of the great sages, which the sages put before with a great respect, and therefore he was condemned. So that's what. So whatever the request that sages were given, this king was not able to accept it. So because of that, now the sages wanted to give him a punishment. My dear Vidura, all good fortune unto you. The foolish king, who thought himself a very learned, thus insulted the great sage, and the sages were broken hearted. And the kings, by the king's words, became very angry at him. Now, see, they tried to pacify. The king did not pacify automatically, because this sages are very saintly person, right? They are very much sad because the opposite person is not able to understand the God consciousness. That is the greatness of a devotee. Devotee is always para dukhi dukhi, then para sukhi sukhi. Then when others are distressed, he is also distressed. When others are happy, they are also happy. Now they are about to give the punishment to King Vena, but they are very sad. They don't want to do it, but there is no option. Now they are telling with the roaring voice, they are telling, kill him, kill him, kill him. This person is very sinful. Just burn into ashes. It's like encouraging the serpent, feeding the serpent. So just kill him, otherwise it's going to be very bad for the kingdom. That's why the sages are very sad in one sense, because King Vena was not listening to him. The saintly sages continued. This impious, impudent man does not deserve to sit on the throne at all. He's so shameless that even dared to insult the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here we can see that the very important point, Trinadapi Sunichena, right? The devotees are ready to take any insult to them. But if the other Vaishnava is getting any insulted, devotees never take it. And also, if Lord Krishna himself is got insulted, they won't bear it. They will try to reply properly to that other person who is trying to defame the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the devotees. So now, but for the King Vena, who was simply inauspicious, who would blaspheme the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose mercy one is awarded all kinds of fortune and opulences. So, when the human society or individual people are godless, what happens is all the citizens will be godless, and because of that, we don't able to receive the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So moving on to the next verse, the great sages thus manifested the convert angry, immediately decided to kill the king. King Vena was already as good as dead due to his blasphemy against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, without using any weapon, the sages killed King Vena simply by sounding words. So here it is said that King Vena is already dead. It is Srila Prabhupada always says, right, if you are not able to worship Krishna, if you are not able to use this body for Krishna, then we are dead. No difference between the dead body and us, because we are not using our body properly. We are supposed to use our body for Krishna and serve Krishna. So if it is not done, then we are like no lesser than the dead body, or no lesser than the animal. Srila Prabhupada again and again stresses. So here the sages also telling the same thing. He's already dead. So now they wanted to make him die. So they chanted very loudly. Very loudly the mantras. By chanting that, the King Vena died. After all, sages, then what happened? The sages returned to their respective hermitages. The mother of the King Vena, Sunita, what she did is she became very much aggrieved because of her son's death. She decided to preserve the dead body of King Vena by chanting the mantras. So now we can see that sages are sees the disturbances in the kingdom. What kind of disturbances they are seeing, because now actually what happened, why did King Vena was enthroned? Because King Anga Maharaj was not there, right? So that's why they have put King Vena to be as a king, because if there is no king in the kingdom, what happens? Automatically the all the bad people come and attack the kingdom, and there will not be any safety for the kingdom. So here we can see that once the sages killed this Vena, they all went to the Saraswati rivers and they all did the sacrifices that they have to do, and they were began to talk about talk among themselves. Oh, now what to do? Now the world is in danger. Now that if the thieves and rogues know that there is no king, everybody will fall into the kingdom, and kingdom will be in great danger. So now they are thinking, so how to protect the citizen. So the great protection in this Kali Yuga is Hari Nama, Hari Nama, Hari Nameva Kevalam Kalo Nasteva Nasti Eva Gatiranyata. Just by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can protect ourselves. So now they could see that everywhere in the kingdom is full of dust, because the thieves and rogues are running around the kingdom very fastly. All the dust is around the kingdom, and now the sages are seeing what's happening in the kingdom, why this so much of havoc is created. Now we'll see what they will do. So upon seeing this situation of the kingdom, although the great sages could stop these disturbances with their power, like how they have killed the king, right? They could also kill all of these bad people, but it's not their duty. In the Papa Srila Prabhupada says that it's not the sage's duty, it's a duty of a king. King should protect, and the duty of the sages should guide the king. King should protect the citizens. So why did they corrected this king? Because it's their duty. The sages' duty is to correct the king, but not the citizens. It's not their duty. That's supposed to be done by the king. So then they will think, oh, it is waste of doing this. It's no use of correcting all of these people. Instead, we want a king for for the kingdom. So the great sage began thinking, although the Brahmanas is a peaceful and impartial, because he is equal to everyone, it is still not his duty to neglect poor human. But such neglect a Brahmana's spiritual powers diminishes, just as a water kept in a cracked pot lake. So what's the duty of sages? Sages' duty is to enlighten everyone. It doesn't matter poor, rich, and everything. Now we talked from the beginning onwards, we are talking that sages should guide the king is a rich person, right? Now there is no king, that's only the people are poor people in the kingdom. So it is not mean like sages should just leave the poor people like that and make them suffer like that. So that's not the real quality of a sage or a Brahmana. So thus the Brahmanas and sages are equal to everyone. Now they wanted to see how to protect these citizens now. So now they are trying to get some solution from they are discussing among themselves that what to do now. Then what did they do is they thought of like how the King Vena's body is already preserved by Mother Sunita, right? So they don't wanted to disturb the lineage of Anga Maharaj. Anga Maharaj lineage is very good. This like Srila Prabhupada explains in the Purport, the semen that is coming from the Anga Maharaj lineage is very, very good. But because that Sunita was daughter of the death personified Mrityu, because of that King Vena was bad. So now what they are going to do is they're going to churn the body of King Vena. So here it is explained that how Brahmana, Kshatriya and Shudra, right? So Brahmanas are the head of the society, and Kshatriyas are the arms of the body, and then if you see the Shudras are the legs. Starts from the thigh. Shudras are the legs, and it's from Shudras means from the thigh it starts. So to remove the quality of the bad quality of the Sunitas, Sunita's father's bad quality. So they started churning the thigh of the King Vena. So then when they started churning the King Vena's thigh, so then what happened is a person came out from that. That person is none other than a Bahuka. Is like a dwarf, like a person. He's in a dark color, and he's a father of the tribal people. So he'll be like a protector for the tribal people. When this Bahuka comes out from the from the thighs of King Vena, then Bahuka speaks, "Oh, sages, what shall I do?" Then you have to become a father of a tribal people. Then he becomes the father of the tribal people. And what about these tribal people? Who are they? They are, why they live in outside of the city? It is said that these tribal people are having a bad intention to steal someone, to trouble someone. So that's why it is said that they live outside the city. And also we are talking about the bad qualities that coming from the father's side of Suniti's father, right? That's why it is very, very important of Garbhadana Samskara, all that Srila Prabhupada also explains in the purport. It's very important to purify ourselves before having a child. That is also described there. So now moving on to the next verse. So like here it is said in the 44th verse. Second, in the 44th verse, it is said that that Bahuka will become a fathers of tribal people, and then it is said that these tribal people will live in the outside of the city, outside of the place, outside of the kingdom, because of their sinful reaction. The next what they do is they will try to charm the arms of the King Vena's body. That time what happens is the two personalities will come, Prutu and Archie. That we will see in the next chapter very detailedly. Thank you so much. Sorry for the mistakes committed. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu bhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo nama. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Assembled devotees ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Such a beautiful class. And sorry, Indu Mataji, you want to go ahead?
No, Mataji, please go.
Yeah, such a beautiful class, Mataji. Very, very nicely churned out. Like how they were churned out from the different parts of Vena's body. You churned out all the verses very beautifully. Thank you so much, Mataji. And I also appreciate the way you made the slides. They were so beautiful. It was a visual treat, Mataji. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. Very grateful for your association.
Thank you, Preeti Mataji, for giving the opportunity to do the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam chapter. Thank you so much, and for encouraging me.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. This was an excellent session, Mataji. I really loved some of the analogies that you had given, especially like how you were comparing Vena to the Punarmushiko Bhava. That was, it didn't cross my mind until you explained, oh yeah, this is how it is. And the sages, how they were trying to please Vena and tried their best to get him to change his ways. So thank you for that, and thank you for initially summarizing so that we get a good background of this last time. So very wonderful, Mataji. Thank you for the beautiful slides also. Really wonderful session. You explained each and every verse, went through Srila Prabhupada's purports, and quoting the Bhagavad Gita verses so eloquently. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Induleka Mataji, for encouraging with this. Thank you so much for the opportunity also. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Is there anybody having any more questions?
Hare Krishna, Vinita, Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Thank you for the wonderful summary, Mataji. It's really so nice to hear from you. It's just like narrating a story wonderfully. I enjoyed like a kid, Mataji. Thank you. Thank
Thank you,
you so much.
Nandapriya Mataji, for reading with me through all the chapter today afternoon. Because of you, I read it very detailedly. Thank you so much. It was very nice. We both read it, the chapter yesterday and today, and somehow I summarized. Thank you so much for reading with me.
Thank you for
Hare
giving me
Krishna.
opportunity, Mataji. Because of that, I came to know about the Vena so nicely. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare
Wonderful
Krishna.
narration. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I love the story in the story form that you narrated the whole episode. It was very nice, very gripping. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mukta Mataji. Thank you so much for coming on the call. Very grateful to you. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Thanks for such nice session, Mataji. I'm sorry I was joining late because I was bringing Adya from her, like she will go for her extra activities, right? So I couldn't hear first part, but I'll hear it. But whatever I heard, like later part, like how Vena is asking the sages to worship him, and from there I started to hear. And how we cannot be ignorant, and like you have given various examples related to him, like how he is behaving. So literally, it's it is a lesson for us that how we should not be, and how we should not be like headstrong. By seeing Vena, we should learn that, and we should always be in the service of Lord rather than thinking ourselves as Lord and get services from others. So thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I'll listen to the remaining the first part of the session, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji, for always joining all the calls and giving your association. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If anyone else has any other realizations to share, please go ahead. Okay. Then we'll end the call, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Vacha kalpatarubhyascha
Kripasya
kripa
sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Her Grace Vinita Gandharvika Mataji ki jai.
Srila
Hare
Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Jai.
Thank you, everyone. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Wonderful story. Past time actually, you narrated it